In this tutorial, we'll be doing the Android Studio setup. So I think you get the feel of how I do my tutorials. I don't like to do a lot on the video because the setups are pretty simple if you look at the documentation on the website. It's more the troubleshooting and when sometimes you have little problems. So that's why we have our tutorials to do kind of the workshop and team up of all the Android Studio teams so that they help each other in terms of doing this. So let's get started very quick on the basics. So if you go on this link, you'll be able to find Android Studio. Now, personally, I like a lot JetBrains and all the tools they do. So IntelliJ will also allow you to do Android development. Basically, Android Studio uses their schema and their style of typing. So if you look at when you open up Android Studio, it's going to give you the option of choosing the keyboard scheme for IntelliJ. So let me just pull up the website and give you a couple of things. So if you go on the developer website, I think you kind of know Google puts a lot into everything they do. So especially their documentation and all their preparation they show you. So something I need to just say is Android has a native feel to it. So you know when you're on an iOS app or on an Android app based on the design and how they like to do things. So I recommend somebody in your team going into the design aspect and understanding the native feel of it so that your app feels very normal and very, how to say, usual to Android users. Second part, if I go into the development right here, I'm just going to open it up. So as we've said, every platform has its own tools. So if you go into training, I'm just going to open up as a second tab. You're going to see that they give you access to a lot of documentation. If you see here on the left, a lot of examples. It's Google. So, and on top of that, you could also watch. There's where is it? Build your first app. And it'll show you every step by step how to do things. So let me go back to trainings and let's go to Android Studio. So right here you'll be able to download, depending on what platform you're on, and the basic steps of how to do things. I really like their documentation. Everything is very straightforward. They use a lot of graphics, and as you noticed, I like visuals versus a lot of text where you have to kind of understand what they mean. And also with a lot of sample code, you're able to understand how to use this tool very fast and very easily. Now, let me pull up Android Studio and let's make this basic Hello World app and then we could see. So I go here, new project. I'm going to choose to call it Hello World Android. And I'm going to do next. So you get to choose depending on what you're developing for, but for the purpose of this class, we're doing a mobile app, so you get to come here. Now, I recommend basically looking up these differences and determining which one you want to do. Let's say you decide to choose, for example, Nugget. Well, if you don't have the Pixel phone or you didn't do the developer version, you won't have access to this. So think of this logically when you're choosing these options. So let's say I choose, I have Marshmallow, so let me do Marshmallow. It even gives you a rating on how many people actually have this OS, and it's an approximate. So let's say you do next. Now here what I like a lot is they give you a lot of templates and a visual feel to this, but I'm just going to use a very basic empty activity, and main activity is what I'm going to call, and the layout is going to be called activity main. So okay, I'm very happy with all of this, so it initializes. So right here on the left, there's project. It'll open up, and then apps and main activity. So this is where the main part of your project starts, and then this is from where we can move. But if ever, let's say you didn't want to start from this page, you wanted a different page, everything you'll be able to find in terms of the settings are in Manifest, Android Manifest, and then here you get to change things. For example, this is the first activity that's going to start. Okay, and then you'll be able to see that this is where the launcher is going to start. So let me just pull out the main activity, and the other one that would be interesting to us would be this one, which is the XML file. So this is where you do your UI design. Very simple, very basic. Let me just close this. So you might get errors at first. If you notice this bar at the bottom is still working. So give it a couple seconds until this is done, and then look if you're still having problems. So let me just explain quick. So here it's going to use this layout that we just saw and then put it as the content view, and then here we're able to create whatever we want. Let's say you want to reference a button, so let's go and put a button, and just let me show you very quick how to do this. So this is my basic out-of-the-box template. I'm going to take a button, and I'm going to put it back here. And what's super neat about this is you notice this arrow, so it tells you that it's relative to that line. So this helps a lot when designing these tools. This is new. I didn't have this in my year, so I like it a lot to see the types that are all this is, instead of having to click on this and be like, what was this? Oh, text view. Okay, well, what was this? Oh, that's ID's button. Oh, now it's very nice to know all the IDs just based on this layout. So there's a lot of things you could do here. This looks a lot like CSS if I do view all properties. This is very common. You'll have to go through these and really play with this to best understand. I think this applies to all mobile development. UI is very tedious and long process to get it right. So don't underestimate the UI process. So if you look here, I have buttons I was able to drag and drop. Now we made a button. We call its ID is button. All right, so let's say I go back here in the main activity. I'm able to come here and basically look up for the button I just did. So basically I want a button, so we're going to do button, and we're going to call it BB, and I'm basically going to look for this out of the layout. So this is the layout I set, so if I go by doing find view by ID, and then I'm going to do R because resource dot, and I'm looking for an ID, and if I do dot again, I'll be able to see what I have, but button was the ID I did. There's text view also. So I do this. Now, you would think this is enough, but I'm going to get an error saying this is not coming back as a button. So what we're going to do is typecast it to a button, and now we're supposed to have normal complaints. Oh, sorry, we need to import buttons, and there you go. So now this is all nice and neat, but I want to implement the functionality on this button. So what I do is I'll just do bb.set listener. So as you've done in GUI back in Java, COM248 or 249, I'm not sure. Set onClick listener, and then we're gonna have to implement a new onClick listener. I thought this would complete. Click listener, and then we're gonna open up Feeling lines. And now we basically have to override something because we just created this and created the class in a class listener. I think this will be simpler if we just do this. Public void on click, and then import this class, and give me a sec. Actually, what we're going to need to do is put an uppercase here and out of the package view, and there you go. So I can write any code I want here. Basically, if I wanted to change the text view here, I'll be able to take the ID and set a different content to it. So I'm not going to do that. I just have to quickly go back to my slides and explain our last important topic, which is testing. So JUnit, if you've done Java and you've done unit test, this is the tool that you'll be using. And then for your UI testing is going to be Espresso. Their documentation is pretty good, and I think it's very straightforward to use, but that's why we have all your teams working together, so I hope this will be helpful. Hope to see you on Monday, and, well, enjoy!